this KLR 650 Adventure version. I'm going to ride it across the Valley of Death, where it is 3,160 degrees. Oh, wait, that's the odometer. I'm Jimmy Lewis with Dirt Bike Test. Today we're on a dry lake bed in the middle of nowhere, talking about the Kawasaki KLR 650. This particular one is a 2022 edition, but it could be a 23, 24, 25, 26. They're not going to change it. And I've said many times about all the KLRs, this could potentially be the best adventure bike out there for you. Now, don't get your aggressive KTM or elitist BMW or maybe exclusive Ducati, Triumph, something else. And don't worry, I'll get to you Japanese brands as well. But there's a reason why this Kawasaki is so good. And it kind of starts with the price. The KLR has been around for a long time. This is an all new one. Basically, they took the old one, fancied it up a little bit, and put fuel injection on it. But other than that, it's still the same bike. I mean, I haven't ridden one for a few years, but everything I remember about the old one is present in this one, and I think if you blindfolded me, I wouldn't notice the difference. So at $7,999, you're getting a basic adventure bike. This one runs with its panniers and crash guards, extra lights, a USB plug here that looks like you could plug a 50 amp socket into it. You're getting a lot of little things that are really expensive on some of the other bikes, but Kawasaki's giving it to you for a pretty decent price, and you're getting all the stuff that you need to go out on a nice adventure. Our bike came fitted with some Dunlop tires on it that are a little bit better than the stock tires, a little more knobby because they knew since we're dirt bike tests we'd be riding down to the dirt. But here's the big difference. This bike doesn't offer a ton of performance. And when I start talking about performance, I talk about horsepower, I talk about like precision handling, we talk about suspension that has suppleness and bottoming resistance. The Kawasaki kind of has, well, I don't want to say none of that. It just doesn't matter. So everything about this bike is just made to cruise around comfortably and really enjoy the adventure. It doesn't go that fast, so you're not going to get speeding tickets on it, number one, but it will get you a long ways on the big tank. It is torquey and chuggy, and it's the kind of power that doesn't get you into trouble because it's not going to light up the rear wheel, and it's not going to accelerate kind of if your wrist moves a little bit, it's not going to be jerky. Especially for newer riders, these are important things. The suspension, it's compliant, it's actually pretty soft, it's a little bit springy, and it bounces around. So when you hit the bumps, luckily you're already going slow, so you'll go slowly through the bumps and it'll be fine. Try to ride it like a race bike or a regular dirt bike, you're going to be sorry, but that's not what this is designed for. And probably the biggest thing the Kawasaki has going against it, no, actually it's going for it, is this vague handling. And when we start talking about the foot pegs, they're rubber mounted, and they're rubbery foot pegs that are actually kind of narrow, and they flex a lot, and the forks flex a lot, and the back of the bike flexes a lot. So if you expect to just stick this bike into any line you want to very quickly, you know, it doesn't work. But at the same time, that flexiness sort of adds comfort. It gets you out of trouble. It makes the bike really plush and not jarring to ride. The seat is thick and comfortable, so you can sit down in it all the time. And in fact, this bike kind of rewards a seated riding position. It doesn't really want you to stand up because you start standing up and then you start feeling the flex a little bit more. But if you're just going to sit down, go explore, ride, you're going to be in good shape. And since the end of the world is coming, well, at least financially, this price really starts making a bit of difference for most riders. You know, you're going to see, looking at, you know, adventure bikes that are now pushing $20,000, and this thing is quite a bit less. It's a good commuter bike. I mean, you could take all the stuff you ever needed to go to work every day, get really good fuel economy, kind of have fun doing it. And then when the time presents itself to go out and do an adventure, you've got a bike that'll do that. It's got stuff to hook stuff to. You can pack it pretty well. There's plenty of anchor points. There is, like I said, the USB plug if you need to plug something in, but I would say go get lost. The accessory lights actually do a pretty good job of doing some extra lighting on the road. And the fuel injection, for what it's worth, runs almost the same as the carbureted bike did, except you can just do crazy stuff with the throttle, really low RPM with big throttle openings, and it doesn't hiccup or burble. And we rode it in really high temperatures, and now it's starting to get quite a bit cooler, and the bike always started right up and ran about perfect. You don't buy the Kawasaki think I'm going to modify it like crazy. There's a lot of really smart mods that people do. There's a lot of stuff they do with luggage, milk crates excluded. There's fork braces you could put on that'll stiffen up the handling a little bit. There's stuff you can do to the foot pegs that'll make it act a little more rigid and give you a little more feel through, the whole handling aspect of the bike. But there's stuff that if you're going to go diving into the motor and try to get power, I'm sure there's a lot of power available in there, but do you need it? And how much do you need? And where are you going with this? So like with a lot of bikes that are lower price point bikes, they're a great way to get in. You want to enjoy them for what they are and really not try to get too carried away and make them something that they're not, because then you're going to run into other shortcomings that are really built into the package. So for all the reasons it's not a great high-performing adventure bike, these are the reasons that it could be the best performing adventure bike.
If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.